now. I've lost 70 pounds in 30 inches. I know the secret. I feel great now after losing the 70 pounds. I can do stairs. I don't have pain through the day, through the night. As a breast cancer survivor, I knew I needed to lose the weight to prevent future health issues. I feel great, living each day with hope for my future.
For your free private weight loss consultation, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695. We know the secret.com.
These days, news seems to come from all directions, and it can be overwhelming. Simplify your intake by watching news from where you live. WJFW NBC News Watch 12. We deliver critical local and national news, sports highlights, and weather updates. Watch us daily on Channel 12. Visit us at WJFW.com or like us on Facebook. We are NBC News Watch 12. You're watching NBC 12 from where you live.
I don't see this as an improvement to the status quo. I support the lawsuit that's been filed by the Attorney General. I support the position that the governor has taken, and I've been loud, proud, and outspoken about the position that my constituents and the majority of the people in Wisconsin want me to take.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, find out the latest from Madison as a controversial new abortion bill is the focus of debate. Plus,
and some changes to the forecast. Some of you may be happy with that, as this will mean less snow. Your full forecast is coming up.
And learn about new prison services for the aging population incarcerated in Wisconsin. It's Thursday, March 16th.
Newswatch 12 today with Jackie Smith, Michael Lodeholt, and Devin Biggs.
good morning and thank you for starting your day with us. I'm Jackie Smith.
And I'm Michael Lodeholtz.
And yesterday was a great day to kind of get outside. I love my driveways getting a little more clear by the day with any ice on it.
Can you see the pavement now?
I can see the pavement now.
Ooh.
Forgot what it looked like for a second.
Exactly, and perhaps we're not going to be getting quite as much snow. I know Devin's been on and on about the weather lately, and he's joining us now in the Weather Center. Devin, not quite as much snow as we thought?
I just want to do this right now. That's how I feel right now. Seriously, the system has been a pain. I mean, we went from thinking a lot of snow to now 1 to 3 inches. Pretty much call it it's not going to happen. It's going to be a dud at this point. Is pretty much the way I want to put it right now. It's definitely been rather interesting this morning and over the last few days to track this thing. And as you can tell, the adjustments have been made. Some of our counties have been eliminated from any advisories for the snow. Where you see winter weather advisories, some accumulating snow could still take place. And areas just slightly south, but not as much, maybe 1 to 3 inches just to the south and east of those winter weather advisories, and that'll be about all there. But otherwise, we have clouds moving in. We've had a few rain showers this morning. It'll be rain all day long today, but by later on this evening, we'll start seeing that switch over to snow. The timing of this will kind of decide if we see a little bit more than expected, or if we see it about what we expect, or even less than that. It's been kind of a tricky system, the forecast, but there it is right there. It's kind of starting to get its act together. Now, but your forecast for today, rain will be likely. It's actually not as cool out there. Temperatures starting off in the 40s and 30s this morning. We'll kind of stay in that area today.
Wednesday morning, Republicans introduced a bill to loosen Wisconsin's current 1849 abortion ban. That ban outlaws the vast majority of abortions. The new bill would have allowed abortions in case of rape and incest in the first trimester. But within hours of being proposed, the bill drew opposition from both Republicans and Democrats. While the bill proposed more legal abortion access, Democrats said it wasn't enough.
I don't see this as an improvement to the status quo. I support the lawsuit that's been filed by the Attorney General. I support the position that the governor has taken, and I've been loud, proud, and outspoken about the position that my constituents and the majority of the people in Wisconsin want me to take.
Governor Evers said in a statement he would not support the bill, adding that he wouldn't sign, quote, anything less than what women had before Roe v. Wade was overturned. After Governor Evers said he would not support the bill, Senate Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu killed it, releasing a statement saying that the bill would not be considered on the Senate floor.
The Netflix documentary series Making a Murderer raises questions about whether Manitowoc County officials framed 2 men in the 2005 murder and rape of Teresa Halbach. Former Manitowoc County Sheriff's Detective Andrew Colburn sued the filmmakers for defamation, saying they misquoted him and made misleading edits. Late last week, a judge decided on the case. U.S. District Judge Brett Ludwig ruled in favor of Netflix and the Making a Murderer filmmakers, concluding that none of them acted with any malice toward now-retired Manitowoc County Sheriff's Detective Andrew Colburn. Ludwig found the edits in the docuseries kept the gist of Colburn's testimony.
A Wisconsin Dells man charged with assisting in the plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer pled guilty Wednesday to a lesser charge. Brian Higgins said he would attempt to provide material support for terrorism. Higgins admitted that he drove past the governor's vacation home in 2020 while allies waited across the lake for a signal from his laser-style device. Higgins was among 5 men scheduled to face trial later this year. 14 people were charged in 3 different courts and 2 men were acquitted. Higgins won't be sentenced until after the August trial of his 4 co-defendants.
A Wisconsin prison is opening an assisted living unit to care for its aging prison population. The Oak Hill Correctional Institute in Oregon, Wisconsin, received a $7 million upgrade. The new unit at the minimum security men's prison opened last month with 7 patients. Officials hope to hire more staff to reach its full capacity of 50 beds available in the assisted living section. The Department of Corrections Security says in 2022, there were more than 1,800 inmates over 60 years old.
U.S. stocks dropped Wednesday due in large part to investors' fears about future problems in the baking industry.
This comes on the heels of another major financial fall, this time from an institution across the Atlantic.
John Lawrence reports.
Credit Suisse, one of Switzerland's top lenders, has been struck with the banking blues. On Wednesday, its stock value tumbled as much as 30% after its largest shareholder announced it wouldn't increase its funding for the 167-year-old institution.
It's certainly not great in the context of the bank failures that we suffered here earlier this week. You know, everyone's on edge, and it just adds to the angst.
Some of the angst may be fading as Credit Suisse says it'll borrow 50 billion Swiss francs, about 54 billion US dollars, from the Swiss National Bank. Officials there, in a joint statement with the Swiss Financial Market Supervisory Authority and Credit Suisse, say the problems of, quote, certain banks in the USA do not pose a direct risk of contagion for the Swiss financial markets. Speaking of the banks in the USA,
I don't think this is a time for panic or alarm. This is not 2008.
Since Silicon Valley Bank collapsed last week, many depositors have been yanking their money out of small banks and putting it in accounts at bigger banks like Wells Fargo and Bank of America.
Not being able to get your money out of the bank is a fear, but it is not a realistic possibility or a realistic threat that Americans are facing.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And coming up in international news, witchcraft and wizardry is making a stop on the Hogwarts Express in Japan.
Find out more about the latest overseas expansion in the Harry Potter universe. Those stories and more news from around the world when we come back.
Love your career? Cost Cutters will support you in achieving your career goals. With competitive wages, great benefits, and up to a $2,250 sign-on bonus. Stop in or visit costcutters.com to find your nearest location.
Dan Kelly is extremely corrupt. 6 times Kelly ruled in favor of a plaintiff with close ties. He was on their advisory panel. He took contributions from their board. And all 6 times, Kelly ruled in their favor. Another time, Kelly changed his mind about whether to judge the Zignego case after pocketing $20,000 in contributions from the Zignego family. Corruption, extremism, that's Dan Kelly.
This week on Jeopardy! Current champion Stephen Webb.
That's correct. You just ran that category.
Is not going down without a fight. And everyone.
True Daily Double, please.
Is coming after the king.
I'm from Vegas. Let's bet it off. Wow.
I will wager 5,000.
Wow. It's a big wager.
This week on Jeopardy!
Jeopardy! Weekdays at 4:30 on NBC 12.
Sue right, Jake middle, me on the left.
Yeah, I knew I'd win.
Are you saying
What's
something?
really happening over there?
I think you're on mute.
There's no substitute for real gaming fun. Go where fun lives. Ho Chung Gaming Wittenberg.
Love your career? Cost Cutters will support you in achieving your career goals. With competitive wages, great benefits, and up to a $2,250 sign-on bonus. Stop in or visit costcutters.com to find your nearest location.
Welcome back. Let's get things rolling out there this morning. This has been quite a system to track over the last few days as we have some more changes and rather dramatic in a few areas too. Let's start here in Park Falls this morning. The pavement's a little wet. We've had a few rain showers out there this morning. Nothing slippery. Temperatures are well above freezing, so anything that's falling is staying as a liquid and staying pretty much melting as we move forward. We're now switching over to winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings, but notice they've been trimmed further off towards the north and west. So Oneida County and some other counties were in a watch earlier. That has since been dropped. We're done with that. It's winter weather advisories for Price and Vilas counties and winter storm warnings to the north and west for accumulating snow that will be taking place in those counties later on this evening. But for now, we're just seeing a few rain showers that have been developing in a few spots. Otherwise, it's just the clouds that have been developing as well. We're starting to see the system getting its act together now. So we're tracking off towards the east into the northeast as well. Starting off as rain for us later this evening. We will see a switch over to snow. So we're still going to see stuff happen, just not as much as originally thought. So let's break this all down. So some moisture in the atmosphere, maybe a few rain showers. We'll get even more going during the afternoon period as the system starts to approach. The switch over starts to approach by about 6 o'clock or so. Later this evening, we'll start seeing that switch over from northwest to southeast. We'll still see snow. It may accumulate at times, may get a little bit tricky, but not as much as originally thought. We'll even get a little bit of a dry period during the morning period for your Friday, but wraparound moisture will allow some more snow to sneak in during Friday afternoon and also into the evening time frame. So I'm going to show the rainfall graphic since we do have a little bit of rain, but I'm going to stop it before the switch over to snow because then it'll show anything measured as snow as a liquid. Well, otherwise, we can see up to 3/10 further down to the south, maybe a little bit of rain further off towards the north as well. Nothing too extreme further off towards the north, but of course a frozen ground may cause a little bit of issues there. But here's the dramatic change to the snowfall map. Yeah, nothing impressive at this point except the sharp cutoffs. Look at this. You don't normally see something like this. But yeah, 1 to 3 inches now in the white, hardly anything to the south, 3 to 5 inches in the blue. Then it becomes dramatically higher further off towards the north, which makes Michael rather happy, though, because I know he's going to be enjoying that snow further off towards the north soon. But otherwise, though, temperatures right now in the upper 30s, lower 40s, so any snow and ice melting out there this morning, feeling rather mild out there moving forward. Forecast for today, upper 30s, afternoon rain, areas of dense fog, south wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. By tonight, 21 degrees, rain will be changing over to snow, the northwest wind gusting up to about 30 miles per hour at times. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress, 7-day forecast. All right, so we do have snow and wind chances possible for the day on your Friday. Does not ask much, and some of that will continue also in your Saturday. But by Sunday, looking a lot better with a lot of sunshine, temperatures back in the mid-30s. Spring arrives on Monday. It'll kind of feel like it with warmer temperatures in the upper 30s. Then even making it possibly into the 40s Tuesday and also into your Wednesday.
Hogwarts is coming to Tokyo. Warner Brothers is expanding one of the most successful franchises in the literary and cinematic history, Harry Potter. The company gave a preview of a new Harry Potter studio in the Japanese capital on Wednesday. Mark Stewart has more on the story.
Harry Potter's magic,
You're a wizard, Harry.
is transporting to Tokyo. It's on this massive lot where fans will see some of the series' most iconic sets, like the Great Hall at Hogwarts and the Forbidden Forest. It's part of the new Warner Brothers studio, soon to open in Japan.
What goes through your mind when you see the train, you see the sets, you see the costumes?
Wow, I can't believe it. And when I come here, I have to remember that I'm here on a business trip and not to be looking at this as if I'm just a fan.
Jeff Nagler is president of Warner Brothers Worldwide Studio Operations.
Why Japan?
I think that was one of the easiest decisions for us, actually, because of the whole global interest in Harry Potter, after the United States and after the UK, Japan is the third best area for Harry Potter fandom.
The Tokyo studio is modeled after the one in London and will be larger. A big draw, the Hogwarts Express train that was made in London, transported by land and by sea to its new home here in Japan.
It's not just about the sets, it's about the accessories, the costumes, the props, like the ones you've seen in the movies.
通常映画の裏側というのは We normally don't get to see what goes on behind the scenes in movies, but here we get to see how films get made. For example, it shows us how the people who work in the costume, props, movie set departments all work as a team.
A glimpse into movie magic far from Harry Potter's roots in the UK.
Do you see Asia as a growth market for experiences like this?
Absolutely. We do look at China, and we look at Japan, we look at South Korea. We have a big fan base in Australia and New Zealand as well. It's not Asia, it's the whole Asia-Pacific region.
Stories of imagination appealing to audiences around the world.
Coming up in medical news, learn about the growing number of Alzheimer's cases in the U.S. and where this is trending. Plus, find out just how much some Medicare users can expect to save from a new initiative. Those stories and more health news when we return.
Hi, have you seen that realtor with all those billboards?
Hold my beer.
What?
Get local, award-winning injury lawyers. Get Nicolay.
Good news. This just in. Your Ford dealers have fresh shipments of their award-winning SUV lineup in stock and ready for you to drive home today. Get your hands on a new Ford, the #1 brand in SUV owner loyalty, including Bronco Sport with standard GOAT modes and Explorer, America's all-time best-selling SUV. And now, here's more good news. Now get a 2022 Explorer with 0% APR financing for 36 months, only at your Wisconsin and UP Ford dealers.
Menards carries Richmond water heaters in stock to ensure that you have hot water when you need it. With energy-efficient models and tankless options to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect solution for your needs. Get 11% off all Richmond water heaters. Brighten your home inside and out with Patriot Lighting. We carry security lights that turn on when motion is detected for added security to your home. Now at Menards, security lights are all 11% off.
Save big money at Menards.
I'm finished indulging.
Forever or just in regards to the keg?
Thomas and Juliet, they're totally doing it.
Why don't you just go ahead and ask him?
Can we talk to you at the bar for a second?
I need you for a job. A hidden fortune worth hundreds of millions.
There's a homicidal maniac on the same treasure hunt. I'm in. We gotta celebrate.
Welcome back. Let's go over the changes here. So I'm talking about a little bit of rain here, maybe about 2 to 3 tenths further down toward the south before we switch over to snow. Maybe not as much further off towards the north. The big change, though, will be the snow. We'll still see some, but not as much. Rhinelander only 1 to 3 inches now. And a sharp cutoff, though, in the snow totals as they will increase further off towards the north.
Thank you, Devin. Despite some progress, Alzheimer's disease poses a growing concern in the U.S. According to the Alzheimer's Association, the number of Alzheimer's patients is expected to double by the year 2050, resulting in 13 million people with the affliction. Health officials say although some treatments look promising, many elderly people are still reluctant to talk about cognitive problems with their doctors. The Alzheimer's Association says people with memory issues should promptly touch base with the provider. Officials there also say the national cost for caring for people with dementia-related problems rose to $345 billion in 2023. That's up $24 billion from the year before. Some Medicare beneficiaries could start paying less for certain prescriptions. The Department of Health and Human Services says starting next month, the out-of-pocket cost is dropping for 27 drugs. Seniors could save up to $390 per average dose for these medications. This initiative is part of the Inflation Reduction Act. It requires drug companies to pay a rebate to Medicare if they raise their prices faster than inflation. A new analysis shows closely following the Mediterranean diet could cut a woman's risk of heart disease by 24%. It could lower the chance of early death by 23% compared to women who largely eat other foods. The analysis out in the journal Heart Wednesday incorporates data from 16 studies. It's well established that whole grains, vegetables, legumes, fruits, nuts, and seeds are healthy. And what's new about the analysis is that it focuses on women while also showing the outcomes for men are about 2% worse. The World Health Organization says heart disease is the #1 cause of death.
Coming up next, there has been a lot of speculation about the 4-time NFL MVP Aaron Rodgers. We'll share the latest on where you can expect to see him suiting up next season. Stay with us.
Get the most out of the winter ski season with Newswatch 12 Ski and Board Report. Find the latest slope conditions for ski hills across northern Wisconsin and the UP. On air and online. Brought to you by Ski Brule in Iron River.
To the dentist. To the dentist. To the dentist.
We're off to see the dentist, the most wonderful dentist of all. They are the whiz of all there is that has teeth involved. If ever a doctor was, these are them because of the painless care that causes a buzz. We're off to see the dentist, the most wonderful dentist of all.
Wisconsin seniors depend on Social Security, but extremist Dan Kelly doesn't care about them. Kelly wrote that Social Security was similar to slavery. And Kelly insulted seniors by writing that those on Social Security are, quote, people who have chosen to retire without sufficient assets to support themselves. Do you want a radical like that on the Supreme Court? Dan Kelly, an extremist who doesn't care about us.
Come to Slumberland and get 20% off our beautiful new furniture and decor during our Spring Spruce Up event. We've got fresh new looks, like sleek new upholstery for your living area, plus extra discounts on recliners, patios, Sealy mattresses, and sectionals, including our new super versatile modular sectional. Get an extra 20% off Slumberland low prices during our Spring Spruce Up event right now at Slumberland Furniture. And check out our easy new mattress rating system to get you in your perfect bed.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy and water providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Wausau Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our unique doctor-supervised program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back safely, naturally, and effectively. If you'd love to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no drugs, no hypnosis or surgery, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695.
Hi, I'm Janelle. I've lost 70 pounds in 30 inches. I know the secret. I feel great now after losing the 70 pounds. I can do stairs. I don't have pain through the day, through the night. As a breast cancer survivor, I knew I needed to lose the weight to prevent future health issues. I feel great. leaving each day with hope for my future.
For your free private weight loss consultation, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695. WeKnowTheSecret.com.
Menke Automotive is your new neighbor in central Wisconsin. So now you've got a friend in the auto business. Menke Automotive prides ourselves on having happy employees because happy employees make for happy customers. When you need a new Buick, GMC, or Mazda, expert service, precision body work, or just a hot cup of coffee, come in and get to know us at Menke Automotive at the old Fred Miller location on Grand Avenue in Schofield. Menke Automotive, your new neighbors in central Wisconsin.
Fishing for the best deal on a new boat and motor? Then get to American Marine and Motorsports in Shawano. Pick from hundreds of boats and pontoons in stock at the largest showroom in the USA. Then increase your power with a Mercury motor on your new dream boat. We'll beat any boat price by $500 and trade in your old boat and motor for even more savings. Hook the best deal on new boats and Mercury motors at American Marine and Motorsports, Shawano.
Get your tickets today to meet the Packers on the 2023 Tailgate Tour. Simply scan the QR code on the screen to purchase tickets. The Boys and Girls Clubs of the Northwoods is hosting a great futures fundraising event at the Lakeland Aviation of Minocqua Airport on April 14th. This fun-packed evening will include activities, food and drinks, door prizes, a live and silent auction, music, and Q&A with the Packers. For more information, go to bgcnorthwoods.org.
Attention Medicare customers with diabetes. Now you can stop the painful pricking of your fingers with a continuous glucose monitor. And they're covered by Medicare if you qualify. Call right now for free information.
Welcome back. There's some big news here in Wisconsin. Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has announced his intent to continue to play football for the New York Jets.
Yes, on the Pat McAfee show on Wednesday, Aaron Rodgers revealed his intent to continue his football career and not retire. He said that he intends to play for the New York Jets rather than return to Green Bay, where he has spent the entirety of his 18-year career. Both teams are still working on a deal that would send Rodgers to the Jets through a trade. The four-time MVP says that it was just time for him to move on.
At this point, as I sit here, I think since Friday, I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Earlier this year, Rodgers said that he would go on to a darkness retreat to help make his decision. He revealed on the show that before the retreat, he was almost certain that he was going to retire, but changed his mind once he emerged from the darkness.
I got back to my phone after 5 days off of it. Because your phone's not on the entire time. There's no Wi-Fi on that, hippie mountain. I realized that there'd been a little bit of a shift, that there was some shopping going on, that they were interested in actually moving me. At this point, I got to admit, I went in the darkness, 90% retiring, 10% playing.
After an 18-year career, 4 MVPs, and a Super Bowl win, it seems that Aaron Rodgers' tenure with Green Bay is coming to a close.
There are people very, very split on that. Some people don't want to let him go. Some people are saying it's time.
Exactly. But, the ink isn't dry yet on the move. It's his intent to leave. But, you never know.
Exactly. He originally went into this retiring. Now he's still playing in football. You never know what could happen when you have such a long career. Kind of like
the weather.
Kind of like the weather. You never know what's going to happen with the weather. And that's why we have Devin out on the weather deck to tell us what we can expect.
I swear, sometimes it's one of those forecasts where you just start throwing darts at something and just go with it, right? So I know people like to joke with that, though. And sometimes this feels like one of those forecasts where it's like, anymore, it's just like with this system, it's been just totally challenging. But otherwise, out of here, it's not too bad this morning. Roads are fine. I'm showing this graphic because, yes, we've had rain. Yes, it's cool, but it's not dangerous out. All roads are good out there this morning. Moving forward, we do have advisories posted for the snow tonight. But notice how they've been trend back. This is the winter weather advisories and violence in Price County. Nothing to the south. Winter storm warnings to the north for accumulating snow that will be on the way. Let's zoom things out, a little bit more. When you see stuff is starting to develop near Nebraska. Nebraska that's tracking to the north and east. That will give us rain later this afternoon as well before it starts to switch over to snow later this evening. Here's the travel forecast moving forward. There's a cutoff there, but otherwise this rain this afternoon. For us, though, we'll be in the 40s as well with afternoon rain as we switch this map farther off towards the east so we can get it to go. Is the map going? There we go. Temperatures in the upper 30s, lower 40s there. While further down to the south, nothing too ridiculous either. We'll see temperatures in the 40s. A little more coming up after.
Hey, Dad, I'm almost out.
I got you.
Any questions, Chris?
All good. Thanks, Maura.
Healthier is managing all your family's prescriptions in one app.
With an Invisalign smile, everything clicks. And that class reunion becomes...
Is that Anna?
Invis is the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner and more predictable results. Invisalign.
News Watch 12 today with Jackie Smith, Michael Lodeholtz, and Devin Biggs.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Michael Lodeholtz.
And I'm Jackie Smith.
In 2023, board game revenue in the United States is expected to pass $3.6 billion.
And that is up from $1.7 billion in 2017, according to consumer data website Statista.
That increase in revenue is linked directly with a rise in popularity of tabletop gaming, with many getting into the hobby during the pandemic lockdown.
Newswatch 12's Kyle Bzorski spoke to some area businesses about the trend that they have seen.
Nerd is cool. While nerding out on the newest board, card, or tabletop game is cool now, it hasn't always been that way.
Back in the day, being a nerd, enjoying the games, it was like there was a stigma.
At Zach Heck's shop, located on Rhinelanders Brown Street, customers are coming in to find a place where they are welcomed.
Coming off the back of COVID, like, people want to see and talk to other people.
He says that while people can buy the popular games of Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and Warhammer online, the physical location serves as more of a community center.
Part of the things that I focused on with the store is I wanted to make sure that there was a place that people could go and play the games, but also be able to get their hands on them.
Across town at Legacy Games and Hobby, owner Austin Sheldon says he too has seen an increase in demand of not just purchasing games, but also demand for space to play those games.
Our community's grown exponentially. Our first couple events that we ran here at the store, we'd have like 6 to 8 people on average. Now we're averaging at least 20 people per event.
Sheldon opened his doors 3 years ago, getting a feel for just how diverse the crowd of gamers is.
There's a lot of newer players who are just like, hey, who is everyone? How do I get involved with the local community? And then there's other people who, you know, they walk in and they're just like, hey, Joe, Jim, like they just start rattling off everybody's names because they know all the locals and they're heavily involved with it.
Sheldon says that while the Rhinelander community is a small fish in the world of gaming, their community has thrived by having 2 shops in town where anyone can go to have a great time.
I think it just helps having something around all the time, being readily available where you can come in and people are going to treat you like you're a person rather than a statistic.
And he hopes that as business continues to thrive, more and more people will come out to game.
If we start growing even more, we might need to find a bigger boat.
Reporting in Rhinelander, Kyle Pazorski, Newswatch 12.
And tabletop gaming, a fun time. I know yesterday, me and some friends, we usually get together and play some Uno. And,
yes.
You know, you joined a few times as well.
I have. It's a pretty good time. I'm a Yahtzee kind of gal.
Okay.
I had a championship Yahtzee game with my dad before I moved here, and I won. So I am
impressive.
the champion of Yahtzee. It's my #1 skill.
Devin is joining us now. And Devin, big tabletop gamer, what's your go-to board game?
I love Uno, honestly. I like playing the card game, though. But I do love playing Yahtzee as well. I have more of the newer games I have learned. And actually, I've won a few rounds, too. So there you go. I can make things a little bit challenging from time to time, although it's just all about the luck of the dice, usually.
No, I just have skill. Trust me.
I got my eye on you.
I have strategy.
Sure. She's the ultimate champion of everything. Just make it on the record now. But otherwise, get things rolling after this morning. We're pretty quiet over in Minocqua. A few rain showers that are developing after this morning. We also have some advisories. Mainly just winter weather advisories in Price and Vilas counties with winter storm warnings off toward the north now. And notice these are adjustments. Some counties eliminated from any advisories because the system has dramatically changed where it's not looking to be as bad. Mainly just a few inches of snow and that'll be about it. This thing has really changed dramatically within the past 24 hours. But we're watching this track from the southwest going toward the north and east. There's a precipitation area developing near Nebraska and such. It's tracking off towards the north and east as well. That'll be moving into our backyard later this afternoon. The switch over to snow takes place later on tonight, so we're still going to see some snow, just not as much. Temperature's pretty mild out there this morning in the upper 30s, even some lower 40s. So anything that's falling out there is melting, and anything on the ground is also melting as well. But your bus stop forecast for today, rain showers are possible. Temperatures in the mid-30s, nothing too extreme. The better opportunities for rain showers will be this afternoon as temperatures stay in the lower 40s.
Thank you, Devin. Wisconsin Public Service officials are asking people to clear their natural gas meters from snow and ice. WPS says that crews are finding natural gas meters buried right now, which can create a very dangerous situation. They are asking WPS customers to remove snow and ice from around natural gas meters, piping, and appliance vents. They ask to not use shovels near equipment, but instead to remove the snow with your hands or a broom. And if you smell a natural gas odor, leave the house immediately and call the WPS natural gas emergency number.
The Wisconsin DNR announced that they will begin selling 2023 bonus spring turkey harvest authorizations on March 20th. The leftover permits can be available for purchase through the DNR's online license portal at gowild.wi.gov. It's for hunters who want to harvest more turkeys or for hunters who missed the earlier registration. Bonus harvest authorizations are $10 for residents and $15 for non-residents.
The School District of Rhinelander Community Education Program will host a class called Dissecting Your Walleye Waters on April 6th. Professional fisherman Ryan Jarek will explain the several aspects of analyzing different water bodies to understand where and how to target walleye. The class costs $5 per person. Pre-registration is required and space is limited. To register and for more information, visit the community section of the School District of Rhinelander's website.
Coming up, we have some news you can use, including a new way AI technology will be helping Google users.
Plus, find out how winter weather is causing more issues when it comes to the U.S. food supply. Those stories and more consumer news after this.
Looking to feed a group? Rhinelander Pub is the fresh, easy choice for nearly any occasion or event, offering full-service custom catering for parties and events of all sizes, providing personalized planning assistance and exceptional service. Partner with us to create an unforgettable event.
Get your tickets today to meet the Packers on the 2023 Tailgate Tour. Simply scan the QR code on the screen to purchase tickets. The Boys and Girls Clubs of the Northwoods is hosting a great futures fundraising event at the Lakeland Aviation of Minocqua Airport on April 14th. This fun-packed evening will include activities, food and drinks, door prizes, a live and silent auction, music, and Q&A with the Packers. For more information, go to bgcnorthwoods.org.
Looking to feed a group? Rhinelander Pub is the fresh, easy choice for nearly any occasion or event, offering full-service custom catering for parties and events of all sizes, providing personalized planning assistance and exceptional service. Partner with us to create an unforgettable event.
Welcome back. Let's get things rolling out there this morning. We're pretty quiet over in Minocqua. Just a little bit of rain falling in a few spots from time to time. There's no very mad to run to wipers, and that'll be about all. Nothing too extreme, though. We do have advisories posted for snow that will be on the way. In the purple shades over in Price County and also in Vilas County, that right there is a winter weather advisory. It's not showing up on the queries here because it's showing a winter storm watch near the Marquette area, but there are winter storm warnings further off towards the north and west, and that'll last until later Saturday morning as well. Let's zoom things forward and kind of take a look at things here. So we do have a little bit of rain that was developing out there this morning, otherwise some clouds that are moving in. More of the system is off toward the south and west, and it's starting to attack together now with some rain and snow developing with the area low pressure here that's going to be tracking off towards the east and to the northeast. And again, that'll give us rain this afternoon. There will be a switch over to snow, but the amount of moisture we're going to be seeing with this, not looking to be too impressive as a switch over to snow, not looking to be as decent as originally thought. let's break all this down here. A chance for a few rain showers today. Better opportunities to take place during the afternoon period. By about 2 o'clock or so from the south to the north, we'll see precipitation starting. By about 6, 7 o'clock, we'll start seeing a switch over from the rain over to the snow. The snow lasts overnight, though. Maybe some heavy bursts from time to time. But by Friday morning, a lot of this will start to taper off. There's a little bit of a break before we get more snow going during the afternoon period with a little bit of wraparound moisture that'll start to get going in a few spots. So we'll have to wait till about Saturday or so for a lot of this to start to back off. So otherwise, here's a general idea. So I'm showing you this because there is some rain expected, mainly at around 3/10 possible further down to the south, maybe 1 to 2/10 of an inch of rain before we switch over to snow there. And the snow is not looking impressive at all. It's definitely changed dramatically with about 1 to 3 inches of snow in the white, and that's about it. That's definitely been a shift to the north, though, with lesser totals, with the higher totals off for the north. And a sharp cutoff, too. Look at where the blue, the pink, and the reds are at. Definitely a sharp cutoff with the system, so you would have to travel to the north to enjoy any major accumulating snow. But here in Rhinelander and other areas, not looking at much of anything, as just about 1 to 3 inches is all we're really going to see. But temperatures right now are in the upper 30s to lower 40s. Rather mild out there this morning. Anything that is falling is staying as liquid, and snow and ice melting out there this morning as well, with temperatures staying above freezing. Your forecast for today, upper 30s afternoon rain. Areas of dense fog, that south wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. By tonight, here we are, lower 20s. Rain will change over to snow. A little breezy at times, too, and windy. The northwest wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour. For your Friday, middle 20s on the way. Some snow showers. Also getting windy out there from time to time. The northwest wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress, 7-day forecast. All right, there's the snow and wind continuing as we head towards your Friday. And also into your Saturday as well. Notice the cool down as we head towards Friday and Saturday. But that will be short-lived. By Sunday, mostly sunny again. And getting warmer by next week, too, as spring gets going. And we'll start to feel like it a bit, though. As you notice, the temperatures will stay in the 30s and 40s.
We've heard a lot recently about artificial intelligence, or AI.
Now, Google is bringing that technology to some of its most popular products. In Gmail and Google Docs, you can type in a topic you'd like to write about, and a draft will be generated. From there, you can ask for the tone to be more professional or more playful, and make your own tweaks. These features will be rolled out to selected testers in the coming weeks. Google is also unveiling an AI app builder to help businesses or governments build their own AI-powered chats and digital assistants. The tech giant says companies could customize their own AI applications in a matter of minutes or hours. Testing on that started Wednesday.
Honda is recalling hundreds of thousands of vehicles because of a problem with the seat belt. Over 448,000 vehicles are covered in the recall. Honda says the seat belt in the driver's seat and front passenger seat may not latch properly. As a result, a person is at an increased risk of injury in the event of a crash, since they may not be restrained. The automaker says it has not received any reports of injuries due to the problem. Impacted owners will be contacted by mail starting April 17th.
The impact of the ongoing devastating storms in California could trickle down to the prices at your local grocery store.
California is the leading agricultural producer in the U.S., and many of the state's key growing areas are flooded, delaying harvesting of essential crops.
In today's Consumer Watch, Shelley Molaski has a look at how the disaster is impacting crop production.
A devastating blow to our nation's top crop producer. The recent back-to-back storms hitting California's critical agricultural regions may also impact the U.S. food supply.
The pain is going to be prolonged for many weeks and months. This should have been the beginning of the harvest season.
The relentless rain is flooding crops, evacuating farm worker communities, and delaying the harvest season. California is the golden state of food production. It produces the majority of some specialty crops, like certain fruits and vegetables in the country.
In January's storm events, we had over 15,000 acres that were impacted by flooding and inundation, with over $330 million worth of farm losses.
Ag officials in hard-hit Monterey County say it's unclear when planting schedules will resume, and all the flooded farms and delayed harvests could lead to higher costs for consumers nationwide. That's if supplies tighten and produce distributors turn to Mexico or other regions to make up for shortages and then pass on the added cost to consumers. Ag officials say it's too early to fully assess the damage, but are working to mitigate the long-term impact.
There will be more crop losses as areas that have not experienced flooding now are now experiencing it for the first time.
In Monterey County, the severe weather has forced farm workers out of their homes and left them without jobs.
This community of Pajaro is mostly low-income Latino farm workers, and this is the worst thing that could have happened to them right now.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Shelley Malashi.
We really can provide a resource for individuals. Temporary housing, but we can get you to that next resource that exists in our community, and we have so many fantastic resources.
Coming up at 6, the Northwoods Alliance on Temporary Housing has been working strong to help the homeless population in the Northwoods, all while going through some changes in leadership.
Meet the new executive director of NATH and what she hopes to do during her time in charge.
Come to Slumberland and get 20% off our beautiful new furniture and decor during our Spring Spruce Up event. Plus extra discounts on recliners, patios, Sealy mattresses, and sectionals. Get an extra 20% off right now at Slumberland Furniture.
Dan Kelly and his friends are lying about Judge Janet Protasewicz.
He wants to scare you because he can't talk about his own record.
Dan Kelly has never sentenced a single criminal to prison.
Not one. That's a fact.
And as a private attorney, Kelly got rich defending sex predators who posed as youth ministers to sexually assault young girls.
That's the truth.
The bottom line is that Dan Kelly won't keep our community safe.
He's an extremist
who doesn't care about us.
Northland Basement Systems is the all things basementy company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. When it comes to basement solutions, nobody does it better than we do. Since 1991, homeowners just like you in the Northland have trusted Northland Basement Systems for all things basementy in their homes. Call Northland Basement Systems today to schedule a free home evaluation.
Farming today doesn't always feel the same way it used to. Then again, some of it feels all the same. Maybe it isn't so much the jobs that changed, but how they get done. Now that's a different story. Efficiencies are critical, which is why you need a lender who will find the right loan structure for a strong financial future. You need a lender to look out for your whole farm operation. Ag Country.
Get your tickets today to meet the Packers on the 2023 Tailgate Tour. Simply scan the QR code on the screen to purchase tickets. The Boys and Girls Clubs of the Northwoods is hosting a great futures fundraising event at the Lakeland Aviation Minocqua Airport on April 14th. This fun-packed evening will include activities, food and drinks, door prizes, a live and silent auction, music, and Q&A with the Packers. For more information, go to bgcnorthwoods.org.
Sleeping in pain or too hot? Come to Slumberland and get 20% off mattresses. Find your perfect mattress with our easy rating system and save big. Get a Sealy Queen mattress for just $4.99. Only at Slumberland.
And welcome back. Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers went on the Pat McAfee show recently and made it clear he intends to play for the New York Jets.
NBC's Colton Oleski hit the pavement all day in Madison, letting Packers fans air their opinions on the all-pro quarterback for what would appear to be his last time.
I think he needs to move on.
And I think it's time for a new chapter for the Green Bay Packers. It was time to go.
Green Bay quarterback Aaron Rodgers announced Wednesday his intentions to play for the New York Jets next season. So I went on the hunt for Packers fans eager to get quarterback takes off their chests, which means I needed to hit up a few watering holes.
Well, I'm glad it's finally over. I am a little upset that he drug it out when he said he wasn't going to drag it out, but he still did.
Fans like Don Killerlane were frustrated over the amount of time everything took, tired of the off-the-field drama, and ready for the next chapter. But no one was angry.
I mean, frustration would be close because of how, we went through the Favre thing. And now this almost seems to be relatively similar.
And I wish him the best, but hey, go Pack, go.
I'm not really upset or anything. I just sort of looked at it as it was necessary.
You know, I think he has every right to do what he wants. It's his life. And I think we make too much of not giving him that opportunity easily.
As for what's next, everyone, and I mean everyone I spoke with, is ready for a little love.
We've drafted love for a reason, and we're going to trust the organization, make sure we can move on.
Bring the love. We need love in the world. Packers, let's do this.
If he is any good, I don't know, but I hope he is. I'm rooting for him.
Ready for love.
Ready for love.
When people were asked by how they'll remember Rodgers and his time in Wisconsin, they said they'll remember the Super Bowl titles, the MVPs, and all of the wins.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to remember all the good stuff, but it is just the name of the game, trading, playing, going off different places. I remember back in Washington when Russell Wilson left the Seahawks this past season. I believe he went to the Broncos. I don't keep too much up on football, but then Broncos had to play the Seahawks. It's just how it goes, unfortunately.
Exactly. And it's odd, though. Favre went to the Jets. Now Rodgers may potentially go to the Jets.
It's history repeating itself.
Exactly. But, you know, Devin Biggs is on the weather deck now. Devin, any chance of seeing some quarterbacks out there switching teams, or Buck seems to still be out there?
Yeah, no teams switching right now. We still have our Buck out here. I almost wonder if Rodgers is doing this on purpose, so maybe to repeat history. So I don't know. That's up for people to decide, though. But yeah, otherwise this morning, yeah, Buck Zero just chilling out here as well, because Dan Hagan still cannot catch a deer in some areas. But otherwise, here we are. Road conditions, the road conditions are good this morning. I'm showing you this map because we've had some rain in a few spots, but overall, looking pretty decent out there. Everyone's in the green. We do have advisories posted, winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories. And there are some winter storm watches off for the north and east, but some of these have been dropped because the way the system has really kind of developed over time. Not looking at a lot of snow at this point, though, even to the point where some advisories have been canceled altogether. But here's the radar and satellite showing some of the system here that's developing, with rain and snow that is developing across parts of Nebraska, and even some rain over near Omaha as well. It's tracking northeast. We'll have opportunities for precipitation later this afternoon. Travel forecast for today. We're catching a break from the precipitation now. There'll be more on the way later on this afternoon. Temperatures in the 40s. For us, though, not too bad either. We'll see temperatures that'll be in the upper 30s to lower 40s. Or further down to the south, not too ridiculous. So we'll see temperatures in the 40s. A little more coming up after the break.
The real value of a number all depends on who you are. After an accident, there's one critical number that helps you get your life back by factoring in your needs for today and tomorrow. That's where Habish & Rotier's numbers really add up. With over 90 years of client successes and 13 offices to help you wherever you are. Trust Habish Personal Injury Attorneys to get the number that's right for you. Call 1-800-2HABISH.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Wausau Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our unique doctor-supervised program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back safely, naturally, and effectively. If you'd love to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no drugs, no hypnosis or surgery, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695.
Hi, I'm Janelle. I've lost 70 pounds in 30 inches. I know the secret. I feel great now after losing the 70 pounds. I can do stairs. I don't have pain through the day, through the night. As a breast cancer survivor, I knew I needed to lose the weight to prevent future health issues. I feel great, living each day with hope for my future.
For your free private weight loss consultation, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695. We know the secret.com.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Give any room a fresh look with Mohawk Tile. Mohawk features ceramic, porcelain, and mosaic glass tiles to fit any decor. Pick up Bloomfield Hexagon tiles for only $139 each after 11% rebate. Complete your tiling job with professional installation products from Tech. Unique Power Grout formula is highly stain resistant and never needs sealing. Power Grout is only $18.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
News Watch 12 today with Jackie Smith, Michael Lodeholm, and Devin Biggs.
A dramatic rescue caught on camera. Crews in California saved a 51-year-old man trapped in the Los Angeles River Wednesday. And as the video shows, the man was holding on tightly to a wall to keep from being swept away by a rain-swollen river. A Los Angeles Fire Department helicopter lowered a rescue worker down to grab the man and hoist him into the chopper. He was taken to the hospital to be treated for hypothermia. The man had been in the water for nearly an hour before he was rescued. That's very tough to be going through that for quite an extended period of time. And of course, it's a mess over there right now.
Absolutely props to him, though, for being able to hold on for an hour.
Yeah, that water looked like it was rushing rather quickly over there.
Yeah, not very good. I mean, they've had all the rain, they've had all the snow, and maybe some snow melt as well, from too dry to too wet in a short amount of time. And now we're going to see food prices go up even more yet again. It's probably going up because of drought and inflation, now on top of inflation, and now crops are destroyed because of rain. So
yeah, snow and rain.
Exactly. They got the flooding over there, the snow and the rain, but we'll have that here when spring finally hits. Eventually, when we get some warmer weather, our rivers will rise, and they'll turn a little muddy from all that dirt going with them, too. You know, we had a lot of snowfall so far this year, Devin.
Yeah, so far, number 5 for top 5 snowiest winters. So we can at least say this was kind of a record-setting year with at least number 5.
We're on the record board.
We're on the record board. That's the best way to put it. This isn't a top record, but definitely one of the more memorable seasons. But otherwise, so next 3 days, we do have some active weather on the way today with rain on the way, and I think we have our graphics ready. There we go. Rain likely today. Temperatures in the upper 30s, lower 40s, mid-20s Friday, and upper teens Saturday, Friday and Saturday with snow. A little more coming up after the break.
We want to see your big old fish. Go to WJFW.com, click on Big Old Fish under the Contest tab, and upload a photo of you and your latest catch. Then make sure your friends and family watch Newswatch 12 Friday evenings at 6 and 10, and Mondays on Newswatch 12 Today to see your photo featured on our Big Old Fish segment. Not only do you get to show off your superior fishing skills, you're also entered to win a fish mount from Norling Taxidermy Studio. Newswatch 12's Big Old Fish is brought to you by Kurt's Island Sports Shop in Minocqua.
Goodwill starts with you every time you shop and donate. Your support opens the door to new opportunities and creates possibilities for people with barriers to employment. When you shop Goodwill, you'll find home decor, clothing that fits your unique style, and other one-of-a-kind treasures. You'll also keep items out of the landfill, all while supporting job training, financial coaching, and more. When you shop at and donate to Goodwill, you open doors to possibilities for neighbors in your community. Goodwill starts with you.
Hey, Dad, look,
Us.
this is the magma chamber.
This isn't us, is it? When did we get so connected to our devices and so disconnected from each other?
She's not answering.
What? And when our phones have turned us into this, LT, what do you do when you're a company that sells them? We gotta fix this. It's time to find what we're missing. Join us in taking a break from our devices. Take the phones down for 5 challenge for 5 days, 5 hours, or even just 5 minutes. Feels good. And let's find us again. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
Sue right, Jake middle, me on the left. Yeah, I knew I'd win.
Are you saying
What's
something?
really happening over there?
I think you're on mute.
There's no substitute for real gaming fun. Go where fun lives. Old Chunk Gaming Wittenberg.
Fishing for the best deal on a new boat and motor? Then get to American Marine and Motorsports in Shawano. Pick from hundreds of boats and pontoons in stock at the largest showroom in the USA. Then increase your power with a Mercury motor on your new dream boat. We'll beat any boat price by $500 and trade in your old boat and motor for even more savings. Hook the best deal on new boats and Mercury motors at American Marine and Motorsports, Shawano.
You're watching NBC 12, your home for dramas, game shows, comedies, and sports. NBC 12, from where you live.
Bill's state budget, plus.
All right, we're starting off with a few rain showers in a few spots this morning. We're catching a break, but more rain will be on the way. Your full forecast is coming up.
And learn the details of the Wisconsin Public Service Foundation's Technical Scholarship application. It's Thursday, March 16th.
News Watch 12 today with Jackie Smith, Michael Lodeholtz, and Devin Biggs.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Michael Lodeholtz.
And I'm Jackie Smith.
Homelessness is sometimes seen as an urban problem, but rising rental costs and a short housing supply are putting some rural Wisconsinites at risk.
A Rhinelander homeless shelter is seeing that widespread pressure while also welcoming new leadership.
Newswatch 12's Nick Van Zyl visited with the new executive director of the Northwoods Alliance on Temporary Housing.
It's been a busy first week for the new executive director at the Northwoods Alliance for Temporary Housing. Abby Dahl-Lukowski has been busy meeting residents and volunteers at Frederick Place in Rhinelander.
Providing them a safe place to sleep and rest and have a good meal.
One of Abby's tasks is to oversee fundraising for the agency.
I look forward to bringing in my experiences and my expertise in that area to help that sustainability continue on.
Abby brings her 20-plus years of experience in public health and family services to the nonprofit agency. She's excited to continue the strong leadership NATH has been known for in the past.
Frederick House is located right here in Rhinelander, but we serve a 5-county area, and so how can we improve some of those services moving forward?
Abby says she hopes to partner with local business owners to provide things like haircuts, dental work, and other things that can help a person's self-confidence. She says that these things are easily overlooked, but very important.
We really can provide a resource for individuals. Temporary housing, but we can get you to that next resource that exists in our community, and we have so many fantastic resources.
Reporting in Rhinelander, Nick Van Zyl, Newswatch 12.
In his recent budget proposal, Governor Tony Evers set aside $16.5 million a year to help homeless people in Wisconsin. The budget would include funding for homelessness prevention and veteran rental assistance, but is pending approval from the Republican-controlled state legislature. The proposed funding increase would directly impact shelters like NATH Frederick Place by increasing the amount of grant money they have available.
And taking a turn to talk about the weather. I know a lot of people were kind of dreading this expected snowfall that we're going to have this weekend. So now they might be celebrating a little bit.
Yes, it's certainly projected to be less than what we were hearing a few days ago. And Devin Biggs joins us now in the Weather Center. Devin, we thought a lot, and now we're thinking a little less.
Yeah, way less if you want to go, because we went from a winter storm watch to nothing now for most of us. There's just a couple of our core counties under an advisory, and that's about it for some of that accumulating snow. The sharp cutoffs, so, and the snow totals. So now that they can, some areas, like, not much of anything, 1 to 3 inches or less, kind of the best idea. So definitely some changes here. Let's get things started out there this morning. Again, looking pretty quiet here across the Northwoods. Some spots might still be noticing some rain showers, others not so much, drying out for now. We're hearing those advisories. So Price County, Vilas County, will they winter weather advisory for accumulating snow possible and gusty winds, winter storm warnings posted to the north, and even some watches still off for the north and east. Notice some of our counties as well have been trimmed out of the advisories altogether because the amount of snow expected won't be as much to reach advisory level criteria. So we'll still see some snow in some spots, but nothing to the point that we will have to get too worried about. Just more of an inconvenience. But otherwise, as we get things rolling out there this morning, clouds, some rain earlier, but we have more active weather that will be on the way soon. We're seeing some of that development taking place to the south and west. Now, if we can get the clicker, we've just been having technical difficulties lately with this. But otherwise, let's get things rolling, watching all this tracking off towards the north and east. So a forecast moving forward for today. All right, we're just going to send it over to Jackie and Michael.
Thanks, Devin. State Senator Mary Feskowski and Assembly Representative Calvin Callahan will be hosting listening sessions on March 25th at several locations in the Northwoods. The listening session will be an opportunity for constituents to give their input on what they would like to see in the biennial state budget. Both politicians will start the day in Townsend at the Town Hall from 9 to 10 a.m. They will then stop at the Antigo City Hall at noon. Their trip will take them to Merrill City Hall at 2 p.m., and then they will wrap up their day at Tomahawk City Hall at 4 p.m. Felskowski will also be holding a listening session with Jeff Mursaw on April 1st and Rob Swearingen on April 15th.
Governor Tony Evers announced that he is seeking applicants for the Price County District Attorney. The appointment will fill a vacancy created by DA Carl Kell's resignation, which becomes effective on April 7th. The new DA will serve for the remainder of the unexpired term that ends in January 2025. The application is available on Governor Evers' website, evers.wi.gov. Just go on the Apply to Serve page.
The Wisconsin Public Service Foundation is accepting applications from area high school seniors for its technical college scholarships. In a release, WPS said the scholarships are a continuation of a nearly 60-year commitment to help area students take the next step toward career success. Eligible students can receive a scholarship to work toward completing a one-year technical diploma or two-year associate's degree program. Each scholarship awarded is for $750. WPS said recipients are selected based on academic achievement, school and community leadership activities, and financial need. Applications are being accepted through Sunday, April 30th.
And up next on Newswatch 12 today, we'll be joined by Dennis Meadows from the Three Lakes Chamber of Commerce.
Learn all about their March Mania event going on this Friday and Saturday. Stay with us. We're back in 2 minutes.
Dan Kelly is extremely corrupt. 6 times Kelly ruled in favor of a plaintiff with close ties. He was on their advisory panel. He took contributions from their board. And all 6 times, Kelly ruled in their favor. Another time, Kelly changed his mind about whether to judge the Zignego case after pocketing $20,000 in contributions from the Zignego family. Corruption, extremism, that's Dan Kelly.
RVA has helped me learn by giving me more hands-on activities.
I can watch his writing develop. He has confidence to ask questions of his teachers if he doesn't understand. He's composing his own schedule, which is a lot like what a young adult is going to need to learn how to do, and he's learning that at 11.
My favorite part about being in the RVA is all the amazing clubs. I get on some clubs, and then I realize that there are so many people like me.
Northwoods Accents, located in Mercer, features a wide variety of high-quality rustic and contemporary furniture, all made in Wisconsin. Complete your patio or deck with maintenance-free outdoor furniture. View our best craft living room sets. Denali throws and beddings to warm the chilly evenings. All products have year-round low prices with no sales pressure. The owner is available to assist you with any questions. Stop by Northwoods Accents, 5079 U.S. Highway 51 in Mercer.
Benny's Appliance Service, serving Rhinelander, Eagle River, Minocqua, and surrounding area. 35 years of experience, prompt professional service on all brands, emergency service available.
Music every weekend, never a cover, and drinks priced right. TV, pool, darts, and more. It's Happy's Pub in downtown Woodruff.
Bolger Cremation and Funeral Services in Woodruff.
NBC Newswatch 12. News from where you live.
Welcome back. Let's get things rolling out there this morning. We're pretty quiet here across the Northwoods. We have snow on the ground, which we're melting at this point, with temperatures that are above freezing. But for now, things looking pretty decent out there at this point. We do have some advisories posted, but they have changed since yesterday, though. The winter storm watches have been dropped for a few spots. Price and Vilas counties have been switched to winter weather advisories. Other areas of the north dealing with winter storm warnings for accumulating snow that will be expected, and even some watches still further off towards the north and east. Let's zoom things out and give you the bigger picture. So it's just a little bit of rain developing this morning. Now we're in a little bit of a break. We're mostly cloudy at this point, but it's more active weather off for the south and west. That'll give us the opportunity for more rain and snow that will be on the way. This will all track from the southwest going to the north and east. So over time today, we'll see the rain getting started again. Then by around 6 o'clock or so, we'll start seeing a transition from rain over to snow. So let's break all this down with Futurecast. So we'll be watching for some rain on the way for us today. There's that line right there, that transition line I'll be approaching by later this afternoon. It'll get closer to us by about 6 o'clock or so. That's when we'll start seeing a transition. Everyone will see snow by later this evening, and especially after midnight. We'll catch a break as we head towards Friday morning, but some wraparound snow will be back in the forecast during the afternoon period as low pressure tracks to the north and east, and some of that will be courtesy of Lake Superior as well. Otherwise, we're going to be watching for some rain as well. Farther down to the south, around 2 to 3/10 of an inch of rain possible before we switch over. Maybe a tenth or two further off towards the north. But the snow amounts, not as much now. Barely 1 to 3 inches of snow in the white shade before we're all finished up. Hardly anything further down toward the south. 3 to 5 inches of snow in the blue. Notice the pink, that's 5 to 8 inches. And over in the red, 8 to 12 inches, locally higher amounts there. Just a sharp change in the amount of snow you could possibly see the further to the north you go. We're dealing with quite a dramatic system here that continues to develop and evolve rather quickly with each forecast update. The temperatures right now are in the upper 30s to lower 40s, so we're melting snow out there. Any rain that has fallen this morning, but it really just kind of stayed as rain, and it really hasn't melted down or hasn't frozen at all, really, because, of course, temperatures are above freezing this morning. So upper 30s, lower 40s today. Afternoon rain, areas of dense fog. South wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. By tonight, 21 degrees. That rain swishes over to snow. The winds pick up as well. Northwest wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress, 7-day forecast. There is a snow and wind on the way for the day. On Friday, temperatures falling to the mid-20s for your high temperature. Cool for you Saturday as well with more snow on the way. Sunday through next week, at least through Wednesday, looking pretty good out there. We welcome in spring. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s.
Thank you, Devin. St. Patrick's Day is just one day away, and that means there's a lot of fun events that are coming up in the area.
Absolutely. And to help share in the fun, Dennis Meadows from Three Lakes Chamber of Commerce is here joining us this morning. Thanks for coming on the show, Dennis.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and it's exciting because you have brought along a spread of March Mania. So that's the kind of promotion that's going on at Three Lakes. Is that what I'm led to believe?
March Mania. So it's, it's shop local, shop small, shop Three Lakes. And as Devin had alluded to, I mean, we're almost to spring, so everybody's ready to get out of the house a little bit.
Right.
It's St. Patrick's Day, so why be in the house? And so March Mania is just kind of designed to get people out, get them engaged, get them into town, and in doing so, get them some great deals and some great things to do.
Absolutely. There is a lot of businesses here. It's a kind of layout of all of the different promotions and discounts throughout all the Three Lakes.
Yes.
Which is an impressive list of businesses.
It's quite a list.
Yeah.
It's everybody in town, by and large, has, participated, and there's a lot of things going on. So right in the downtown district, as you migrate out a little bit to the restaurants and the eateries, there's deals to be had everywhere, specials to be had, things to do.
Absolutely. And I mean, it is St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, so I'm sure that there's going to be some green-themed everything throughout town.
I would expect everything is green. I would hope everything is green, but no, there should be some great green specials, and I'm sure there'll be green in the windows. It's unfortunate that we keep getting the snow, or I would have tried to get some green ice in our village skate, which is still going on.
Oh, that would be.
So the ice isn't green. I really was optimistic and excited about that, and it just didn't quite come to fruition. Now, you never know what kind of little, Irish gremlins might be out,
little leprechauns.
Little leprechauns. So there's a lot of great specials going on in town, and we'd love to have people out on Friday and Saturday this week.
And there's not just savings. There's going to be, it says there's some treats, there's going to be some giveaways.
The different businesses some of them will have little tastings and treats. Some of them will be giving things away along with their specials. So yes, whether you're looking for some clothing, whether you're looking for coffees, plural. So we have more than one coffee shop, right? There's things going on all over the place.
We need the coffee fix here on the morning show. But there's not just the March Mania, which is Friday and Saturday in Three Lakes. Go and check it out. You also just got back from Canoecopia for Three Lakes. That was exciting down in Madison.
It was. So we were at Canoecopia this year. It was the first time that, as a chamber, we've gone to a show, and we're launching. It's a bit of a spring brand for us. It's Paddle Three Lakes, and we just want to really get that messaging out to an audience that may not know. You come to the Northwoods, and there's a diversity that you just don't know exists. And we're so proud and blessed up there, 28 lakes, all chained together. People didn't realize that's the largest freshwater inland chain of lakes in the world. Right. It's a huge deal. And those channels are natural, and they're navigatable. And to get out there and paddle, it just was great to touch an audience of people on behalf of the entire Northwoods, not just Three Lakes, but everybody up here. And so we're hoping that messaging brings some new opportunities for folks to come up and enjoy, not just in the spring, but as we go into summer as well.
Yeah, it's great that we have all of those natural bodies of water. It's a great time to get out, paddle like crazy, and bring new people in. And it's exciting, We got that to look forward to. We got March Mania happening tomorrow and Saturday.
Yes.
It's
2 days.
Exactly. It's going to be a good time.
3 Lakes is ready to jump into spring.
It is.
Is what I'm gathering.
Everybody, loves the snow up here and loves the winter, and you hit a point where, let's move on to some other things, and I think we're pretty much at that time.
Exactly.
So this is our kickoff into that. We're saying, come on out, enjoy 3 Lakes, enjoy some specials, enjoy a day, and you can traverse across.
Exactly.
I've got some new friends up in Vilas County. There's a lot of great communities there. We have Rhinelander. We have a lot of great communities down here in Oneida County. So there's just some great things and great places, and get out and just experience. Start in 3 Lakes.
Yes, March Mania. Come check it out.
March Mania.
And thanks for coming on, Dennis.
Thanks for having me.
We always appreciate you coming on and seeing what's going on at 3 Lakes.
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. And coming up, we have What's Trending, including how much money one teen has earned towards her schooling.
Plus, find out which dog is sitting as America's #1 favorite. Those stories up next in What's Trending.
A detective down in Texas. He knows just exactly what the facts is.
Mark your calendars and spring into summer with the 34th Annual Wisconsin River Pro Rodeo. Enjoy 3 action-packed days of a professional rodeo in Merrill, perfect for the whole family to enjoy. Be sure to get your tickets early. The Wisconsin River Pro Rodeo, June 9th, 10th, and 11th.
I started to see Dr. Drager in September. Back pain, nerve pain, right leg would go numb, foot would go numb. We did some x-rays. He determined that I had some pinched nerves. He could fix it without surgery through a series of impulse and laser treatment.
The reason the lasers work is they go to the root of the problem. They go deep into the tissue to heal the nerves, to help repair them and bring blood supply back to the area.
The nerve pain went away, the tingling went away in my feet. Felt great.
There's a lot of talk about lasers now, but not all lasers are created equally. You need to have the high-intense laser to have the true effect.
For 25 years, Janet Protasewicz was a prosecutor, fighting for justice for victims of crime, helping people like her and him and them. She believes everyone has the right to a safe community. As a judge, Janet upholds the Constitution, and she fiercely guards our rights and our freedoms. Judge Janet will bring change to the court. A common-sense, impartial judge who cares about us. Janet Protasewicz for Supreme Court.
Good news. This just in. Your Ford dealers have fresh shipments of their award-winning SUV lineup in stock and ready for you to drive home today. Get your hands on a new Ford, the #1 brand in SUV owner loyalty, including Bronco Sport with standard GOAT modes and Explorer, America's all-time best-selling SUV. And now, here's more good news. Choose FlexBuy on Escape and get 2.9% APR financing for 66 months plus $1,500 FlexBuy cash.
Looking to break into the world of broadcast television? WJFW is now hiring for various positions. Go to WJFW.com to apply. Don't miss this opportunity.
And it's time for What's Trending. There's one North Carolina high school student that is proof that hard work pays off. Meet 18-year-old Ania Richardson. The high school senior is set to graduate this spring with a 4.2 GPA. She has been accepted to 28 different colleges, including Clemson and Howard University. And if that's not enough, those schools have also offered her a total of $2.1 million in scholarships. However, Ania is still waiting to hear back from 2 more colleges before she decides on where to go. She says she wants to become a therapist to help cancer patients going through treatment alone. And Ania isn't just smart, she's also very talented. She says she taught herself how to play numerous musical instruments, including the guitar, violin, and is now learning the drums. That is amazing.
That is an impressive feat. 4.2 and a multi-instrumental person. I mean, it's a tough thing to do.
You can see why 28 universities want her.
Yeah, right. I mean, it seems like the generations that come up, or for the most part, it seems like you hear more of these stories though, where some people are just getting smarter. So it's just kind of interesting, Noah, because I know it kind of feels like though that a lot of the difficult content in classes seems to kind of sneak its way down to some of the earlier grade levels. It feels like these days. At least that's what I've noticed. It feels like.
Well, I went to like kind of the school in Spokane that didn't have the greatest reputation. Just for we're working on our dropout rates, but there was one student who got into Harvard, and he was just actually I think there was another student got into Harvard too, but he ended up going somewhere else. But like it's just so amazing to see what students can do and scholarships. Seriously, big advocate. I'm a big advocate for helping students get to college. That's what I advocate for. So I'm excited for her, excited for anyone who can get those opportunities.
Absolutely. You know, they work hard, they put in the effort, they have long hours, and then, you know, they're compensated well with some scholarships that allows them to go even further and help out the communities. Like she wants to help out cancer patients one day as a therapist. It's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, for sure. The fight against cancer is never over, and obviously hopefully someday we find a true cure for it. But, I mean, it seems like we're seeing some improvement. Early detection, kind of the big one.
Yeah, and in the meantime, there's amazing people like Ania.
Yes, and at least there's also some amazing animals as well to help bring people joy.
Absolutely.
And in the U.S., there's a new favorite dog after more than 30 years. With their bat-like ears and wrinkly noses, French Bulldogs are now top dog in the country. According to the American Kennel Club's 2022 registration statistics, the cute and compact French Bulldog now sits in the #1 spot. It's the first time in 31 years the Labrador Retriever has been unseated as the most popular dog breed in the country. The French Bulldog has been steadily climbing the AKC's rankings over the last few decades, hitting number 14 in 2012, and in 2021, the breed held the #2 spot behind the popular Labs, but ahead of Golden Retrievers. Frenchies are known to be small in size and have quite a quiet demeanor.
They're just, I love little French Bulldogs. They're just so cute. I love little wrinkly animals.
They are adorable. It reminds me of Jay from Modern Family, and he's got a little French Bulldog that he pretended to not want, because he's, you know, a very strong, a strong man on the show, but then, you know, he falls in love with the cute little friend, and they become close pals.
I think that's what happens with a lot of people, is they like, oh,
exactly.
I don't need no animal in my life, and the second that animal gets, they're like, oh.
Yeah, right. I mean, animals are easily for you to really kind of fall in love for very quickly, though. I mean, I know my college has an animal mascot, though. Ray is his name right now, or Colonel Rock the Fourth, I recall. There's a military history within the university.
What sort of animal is he?
I think it's an actual bulldog. So, that's where it comes in. I believe it's an actual. I don't think it's a French bulldog. I think there's different breeds of bulldogs.
Yeah.
I know Ray's bigger than some of these bulldogs that were shown.
Like
in the video.
actual big bulldogs, they have like the really saggy faces and stuff.
And Ray does have that. So.
Yes, and they're slobbery.
Oh, very slobbery, but also very lovable.
Kind of like how pigs are very lovable.
Pigs can be very interesting too. One of the world's rarest pigs is preparing for her first UK Mother's Day. Tess is a Visean warty pig at the Whipsnade Zoo, and she gave birth to her first piglet, Tanio, in December. Tanio was the first ever, let me try this again, a Visean warty pig. Am I even saying that right?
That seems close.
That seems close. Born at the Conservation Zoo, the critically endangered pig is known as the world's rarest pig because there are less than 200 left in the wild. This year in the UK, Mother's Day will be observed on Sunday, March 19th. So, look at the pig.
Oh, that is so cute. Very excited for that mom pig to have her first Mother's Day.
That's really cool. Also, did you see the kind of patterning on the pigs?
That's interesting.
It reminded me of like the watermelon patterning a little bit.
I can see that. That is absolutely cute pig, though. Glad that even though it's rare, that there's one more in existence.
Exactly. Taddeo is making the numbers just one more.
One at a time.
And definitely cuter than our weather forecast. Let's get into the 3-day forecast. We have rain on the way yet again, though, later this afternoon. Then we have a little bit of snow on the way as we head towards Friday and also into your Saturday. One more coming up after the break.
We so amazing. season.
The stylish Chevy Equinox RS. And Chevy Blazer RS.
So captivating.
You don't have to be an influencer to be an influencer.
The crowd go crazy.
The RS family of Chevy SUVs. Definitely worth a follow. Get 2.9% financing on all 2023 Equinox models. Or get $1,000 cash allowance. Plus, current Chevy owners get an additional $750 cash allowance on all 2023 Equinox models.
Are your floors looking worn and outdated? Stop by Eagle Floor Covering in Eagle River for all your flooring needs.
View our large selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, and area rugs.
We have a knowledgeable staff, competitive pricing, and free estimates. Locally owned and operated for over 2 decades.
Come in and let over 40 years of combined sales and service experience help you select the right floor for your lifestyle and budget.
Eagle Floor Covering on Twilight Lane off Highway 70 West, across from Eagle River Cabinets.
9 million acres of forest, 1,700 miles of continuous shoreline, 4,300 lakes, 12,000 miles of streams, more than 300 waterfalls, 15 counties, 2 time zones, and 1 area code. Welcome to the Upper Peninsula. Welcome to 906 Outdoors. For your connection to the UP, watch 906 Outdoors Saturday mornings at 7:30.
Don't let a storm keep you in the dark ever again. Contact the experts at Christopher Electric, proudly providing backup power services in the central Wisconsin area. Their team will complete the job from start to finish, no third party necessary, and will fit your home with the perfect Generac standby generator. Generac helps protect your home and family from the risk associated with power outages. So don't miss out on this limited time offer. Christopher Electric and Generac. Call for your free home consultation today.
And welcome back. We're getting a look at the new type of spacesuit that astronauts will soon use to walk on the moon.
NASA and Texas-based company Axiom Space unveiled the new spacesuit design Wednesday. It's just a prototype, though. The ones astronauts will actually wear in space will be white. NASA says the color helps protect against extreme high temperatures. These new suits come with specialized tools like an HD video camera and light band on the visor of the helmet. They will be worn on the lunar surface during the Artemis mission sometime later this decade. Developing new spacesuits capable of keeping astronauts alive on the moon has been a years-long effort at NASA.
That is an impressive-looking spacesuit. It's too bad they can't wear that fancy-looking blue, black, whatever they got going on there.
I can imagine that would be very hot, though, but they could install some little fans or air conditioning. I could see them doing that, little fans inside the spacesuit. Then we could have multicolored spacesuits.
Exactly. Like they could have something running through the suit to cool them, perhaps, kind of like, people diving under the ice put hot water through like these suits to kind of keep them warm during rescues.
NASA should hire us. We clearly know what we're talking about.
Clearly, we are the people who need to be behind these suit designs.
Exactly. And just like how we're experts on spacesuit designs, we have our expert on weather out on the weather deck. Devin?
Yeah, so a little breezy out here this morning, but otherwise not too bad. The road's looking pretty decent out here this morning as well. Although we've had a little bit of rain this morning. Temperatures are in the 30s and 40s, so anything that's falling is pretty much staying as liquid, so all systems go this morning. And we have advisories posted for the snow on the way later on tonight across Vilas and parts of Price County. Winter weather advisories, posted there. Winter storm warnings off toward the north and some watches still off towards the north and east. Let's zoom things out right now. Let's take a look at things. So we're watching out for this next system that's located near parts of Nebraska, tracking off towards the north and east. It'll start to build in during the daytime period. Most of it will be rain for us until about 6 o'clock or so tonight. We'll start to see a switch over from rain over to snow. But your travel forecast for today, watching out for temperatures that'll be in the 40s today with that transition to snow during the afternoon period. For us, though, we have rain that will be switching over to snow. Temperatures, again, not too bad in the upper 30s, lower 40s. While further down to the south, not too bad. We'll see temperatures that'll be in the 40s. Let's check out the birthday club.
Pump up the jam, pump it up while your feet are stumping. And the jam is pumping. Look ahead, the crowd is jumping. Pump it up a little more, get the party going on the dance floor. See, cause that's where the party's at, and you find out if you do.
This portion of News Watch 12 is brought to you by Furniture and Appliance Mart.
Come to Slumberland and get 20% off our beautiful new furniture and decor during our Spring Spruce Up event. Plus extra discounts on recliners, patios, Sealy mattresses, and sectionals. Get an extra 20% off right now at Slumberland Furniture.
There's no way to count the number of sandwiches you've packed over the years. Hard to imagine this day would come. Yeah, there's still the same fields, the same roads, the same hard work. But now they're in someone else's hands. And you couldn't be more proud of who you're handing the farm to. No matter what the future holds, Ag Country is here to help you plan ahead.
Dan Kelly is extremely corrupt. 6 times Kelly ruled in favor of a plaintiff with close ties. He was on their advisory panel. He took contributions from their board. And all 6 times, Kelly ruled in their favor. Another time, Kelly changed his mind about whether to judge the Zignego case after pocketing $20,000 in contributions from the Zignego family. Corruption, extremism, that's Dan Kelly.
Okay, I think we're all aware that most cell companies only give you the lowest price when you sign up for multiple lines.
What? Multiple lines?
Hello? Yeah, one sec. But US Cellular gives you just one line for $29.99 with unlimited data.
Just one line with unlimited data.
So you don't have to get more lines than you need.
No, you hang up.
Are you even listening, guy who never looks up from his phone?
Oh, not for me, I just say it.
Okay, so no, you're not listening.
Get one line for $29.99, plus every plan is price protected. US Cellular, built for us.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. I bet. Hey, can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on? Sure. It's wireless. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password? It's Buick Envision. That's a really tight spot. I used to hate parallel parking. Me too.
The Buick Envision, built around you, all of you.
Get 3.9% APR for 5 years and no monthly payments for 90 days. Plus, current eligible non-GM owners get $750 purchase allowance on Buick Envision models.
Sleeping in pain or too hot? Come to Slumberland and get 20% off mattresses. Find your perfect mattress with our easy rating system and save big. Get a Sealy Queen mattress for just $4.99. Only at Slumberland.
In our post-Roe world, medication abortion is one of the last access that millions of women and pregnant people across this country have.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, a high-stakes hearing in Texas could decide the fate of abortion pills across the United States. While in Wisconsin, Evers has just rejected an anti-abortion bill. Plus,
we had a few rain showers this morning. Now we're in a little bit of a break, but more precipitation on to the south and west. Your full forecast is coming up.
And learn why the town of Minocqua plans to borrow $1 million. It's Thursday, March 16th.
Newswatch 12 today with Jackie Smith, Michael Lodeholtz, and Devin Biggs.
good morning and thank you for starting your day with us. I'm Jackie Smith.
And I'm Michael Lodeholtz. Wisconsin Republicans proposed a bill Wednesday that would have allowed exceptions to the state's current 1849 abortion ban.
The Republican bill would allow for abortions only in the first 12 weeks of a pregnancy for rape or incest victims. The bill would also not put a time limit on ending pregnancies that would cause a serious risk of death of the pregnant woman. Governor Evers said that he would not sign a bill that leaves Wisconsin women with fewer rights and freedoms than they had before the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos and other Republicans voiced their opposition to Evers' opinion.
I am super disappointed that Governor Evers has drawn such a bright line to say that unless we basically have abortion until the baby is coming out of the birth canal, he will not sign any update to the statute. I think that's reckless and irresponsible.
After Governor Evers said he would not support the bill, Senate Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu ended it, releasing a statement that the bill would not be considered on the Senate floor. Polls have shown a wide majority of Wisconsin voters support keeping abortion legal.
And taking a turn over to weather, we are no longer going to be at least planning on getting that large amount of snow that we were predicting earlier in the week.
Yes, some people are a little bummed about it because there's some people say you can never have enough, but I know others are pretty relieved.
Exactly. But Devin's here in the Weather Center now to shed some light exactly on how much we can expect.
We all know Michael wants several feet of snow,
It would have been neat to be closer towards the record, but, you know, we'll settle for 5th place.
Top 5, you know.
Yeah, top 5. And, I mean, it can't totally be done just yet. March can still give us a little bit more, and as well as April. So have a little while to go. Yeah, this next system kind of looking like more of a dud at this point, though. It's definitely changed dramatically over the past 24 hours. But otherwise, quiet over in Rhinelander this morning. The pavement's a little wet from the rain we saw earlier this morning. Temperatures are above freezing, which is helping us out. But notice the advisories dropped for a few of us out now. Just Price and Vilas County with a winter weather advisory and winter storm warnings off for the north and west, and a few winter storm watches off towards the north and east as well. Let's zoom things out right now. Rain's tracking off to the north and east. We have clouds that's moving in at this point, but more precipitation off to the south and west, and that will be moving in our direction. Bigger picture, here it is right here. So it's starting to get set together. Plenty of moisture with it, but it's going to take a bit before that precipitation switches over to snow later on tonight. So your bus stop forecast as we get the kids out the door for work, the kids out the door for school, mid-30s and rain showers to start things off. But as the kids do come home, looking like this, lower 40s and more rain showers on the way.
The Wisconsin Rapids Police Department announced that one person was arrested during a police standoff last Saturday. Police responded to reports of a domestic disturbance. Police made contact with 38-year-old Travis Drollinger through the front door, and during the encounter, Drollinger reached behind his back, grabbed a pistol, and pointed it at the officers. An officer fired their gun at Drollinger before a standoff went on for several hours. Drollinger eventually surrendered without incident, and no one was injured in the process. Charges including recklessly endangering safety have been referred to the Wood County District Attorney's Office.
The Antigo man found guilty of killing his mother on Halloween in 2021 will be sentenced on unrelated charges later this spring. 40-year-old Derek Goplin is already looking at a mandatory life sentence for the homicide. He will also be sentenced for charges of the neglect of a child and exposing his genitals to a child. A judge sealed those charges, meaning they wouldn't show up in a search of the state's court access database to avoid tainting the potential jury pool for the homicide case. The seal was lifted after Goplin was found guilty, and a hearing on the case was held Tuesday. Goplin will be sentenced for the murder on April 6th and the additional charges on May 17th. The homicide was the first one in Antigo in more than 30 years.
A former Wausau EMT has pled not guilty to charges of sexual assault. 39-year-old Clifford Heiser faces 2 felony counts of sexually assaulting an unconscious victim. The charges stem from accusations that he sexually assaulted a female as she was being transported to a hospital. Heiser was on probation at the time for a previous charge that occurred under the same circumstances. In that incident, investigators say Heiser's saliva was found on the woman he was transporting. If found guilty of the new charges, he will have to serve the original prison sentence for the initial charges as well. Heiser will return to the court on April 17th for a pretrial conference. He's being held on a $20,000 cash bond.
The town of Minocqua will borrow $1 million for different capital improvement projects in 2023. The decision to do so was made during a special meeting on March 9th. $600,000 will go towards the town's share of the reconstruction of Old Highway 70, which should be completed by mid-June. $100,000 of the loan money will be used to refurbish a nearly 20-year-old fire truck the town has to keep up to standard. And the last $200,000 will be used for Phase 2 of the Torpy Park renovation project.
And some local snowmobile clubs say the trails right now are the best in years. Here's some pictures from the cross-country cruisers who maintain trails in the Minocqua area. They say conditions are perfect, but not many people have been out riding. Trails can be open until March 31st, depending on conditions.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says the U.S. will continue to fly drones over the Black Sea.
His remarks come one day after Russian aircraft downed a U.S. drone over international waters over the Black Sea. The U.S. has not announced whether it will take any action against Russia over the downing, which Secretary Austin called aggressive.
This hazardous episode is a part is part of a pattern of aggressive, risky, and unsafe actions by Russian pilots in international airspace.
Secretary Austin also says that he has spoken to his Russian counterpart about the incident. 2 U.S. officials have said that the U.S. erased sensitive software on the drone before it crashed to prevent Russia from collecting the information.
Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg is addressing the recent air concerns plaguing U.S. travel. He opened the Federal Aviation Administration Safety Summit on Wednesday. Buttigieg asked industry leaders and safety investigators to help him find the root causes after a series of near collisions on runways across the U.S.
We are particularly concerned because we have seen an uptick in serious close calls that we must address together.
Still, Buttigieg says air travel is the safest form of travel and has had a history of strong safety records.
The Environmental Protection Agency has finalized a rule to cut down on harmful smog and pollution from power plants. The so-called Good Neighbor Rule is meant to curb smog and nitrogen oxide from coal-fired power plants and industrial facilities. The EPA will require 23 states currently not meeting the requirements to adhere to them. The requirements set limits on air pollution from smog and ground-level ozone that wafts into other states. The agency says most power plants and heavy industry will need to get specialized pollution control equipment and run it continuously throughout peak ozone season. Peak ozone season varies state to state, but it typically occurs from March to November.
Texas is now at the center of the national debate over a woman's right to choose.
A federal judge in Amarillo is weighing whether to ban a pill used for abortions. The plaintiffs want mifepristone pulled from the market.
The abortion medication has been widely used for decades. Abortion rights advocates question why the drug's use is being challenged now.
NBC's Bree Jackson has more from Washington.
Legal battle over access to abortion continues.
I value life. I think it's extremely precious.
I remember before Roe v. Wade, and now I'm looking at it all over again.
At the center of the debate this time, the abortion pill, mifepristone. It's part of a 2-drug regimen that terminates pregnancies.
In our post-Roe world, medication abortion is one of the last access that millions of women and pregnant people across this country have.
A group of anti-abortion medical organizations and doctors known as the Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine filed a lawsuit in Texas arguing the government did not adequately evaluate the safety of the drug.
We're asking the court to do what is right, to follow and ask the FDA to follow the law by taking these dangerous drugs off the marketplace.
The FDA says the plaintiff's claims are unsupported by any evidence. The U.S. District Judge hearing the case, Matthew Kaczmarek, has a history of anti-abortion stances. Those who support a woman's right to choose tell me this is another attempt to hinder abortion access nationwide.
We should all be incredibly concerned about what's happening and how the opposition is using the court structure essentially to continue to erode access to sexual and reproductive health care.
The Trump-appointed judge could make a decision on the matter as soon as this week, a ruling with nationwide implications. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
Coming up next, all eyes are in Green Bay as Aaron Rodgers gets closer to making a decision on if he's going to stay or leave the Packers.
Here's what Rodgers had to say yesterday in regards to joining the New York Jets.
We had a little bit of rain outside this morning. That's backed off for now, but there's more rain on the way. Your full forecast is coming up next.
St. Patty's Day is tomorrow, and we have a sweet last-minute idea that's magical.
Wisconsin seniors depend on Social Security, but extremist Dan Kelly doesn't care about them. Kelly wrote that Social Security was similar to slavery. And Kelly insulted seniors by writing that those on Social Security are, quote, people who have chosen to retire without sufficient assets to support themselves. Do you want a radical like that on the Supreme Court? Dan Kelly, an extremist who doesn't care about us.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone in Wisconsin can call, text, or chat to get connected to a trained 988 counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you're concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
At Len's Truck, we're all trucks all the time. Nobody has a better selection of used trucks. Ford, Chevy, Ram, GMC, over 800 of the best used trucks money can buy. Buy now and get the highest trade-in value ever at Len's. Go to lenstruck.com. That's lenstruck.com.
Len's Truck. Len's Truck. We got the trucks that's Len's Truck.
Nicolet College is the smartest start to your bachelor's degree. With university transfer, choose from 2 associate degrees, 7 pre-majors, or even earn a degree online. Then transfer to any of the University of Wisconsin colleges or hundreds of other universities. By starting close to home, you'll save thousands in reduced tuition and housing. Choose the smartest start to your 4-year degree. Choose Nicolet College.
Welcome back. Let's get things rolling out there this morning. We're quiet over in downtown Rhinelander. We've had a little bit of rain out there this morning. I noticed just enough to have to run my wipers this morning, but now that has since started to back off. But for now, though, we're watching more precipitation that will be on the way. And notice that the advisories have changed again. Some areas even dropped from advisories altogether. Winter weather advisories in Price County, also in parts of Vilas County, but even some watches off for the north and east still, and winter storm warnings off for the north too. A tight kind of a cutoff line, though, with a lot of snow and not much snow at all. And I'll show you that map coming up very soon. But otherwise, yeah, there's the rain we saw earlier this morning. It's tracked off towards the north and east. We have clouds developing now, more off towards the south and west. Rain will be moving in today. Travel should be okay until we switch over to snow by about 6 o'clock or so later on tonight. Let's zoom things out just a little bit more. Here's the big picture. This thing's starting to get its act together, tracking to the north and east. The snow will stay to our north and west for now. But again, later on tonight by about 6 o'clock or so, cold air will get pulled down, and we'll start seeing the precipitation switch over to snow. So let's break all this down. We'll be watching for more rain showers building in later on today, especially during the afternoon period by about 2 to 3 o'clock. And then as the day progresses on, by about 6 o'clock, we'll start seeing that switch over to snow. Then everyone will get in on some kind of snow by later on tonight into parts of early Friday morning. We'll catch a break later by Friday morning, but notice the winds continue to get gusty from time to time. But even some afternoon snow flurries and snow showers possible as we get some wraparound moisture coming in with the gusty winds. Some of that synoptic snow, some of that also lake effect and lake enhanced snow, as of course Lake Superior is still pretty open. So I'm going to show you the rainfall forecast because we do have some rain on the way, maybe 2 to 3/10 of an inch of rain further down to the south before we're all finished up. Other areas up to 1/10 to maybe 2/10 of an inch of rain before we switch over to snow. And then a big change to the snowfall forecast. And notice it's very stacked up. So 1 to 3 inches in the white before we're all finished up. Over here in the blue, we're looking at around 3 to 5 inches. In the pink, 5 to 8 inches. And closer toward the UP border, or well into the UP, I should say, 8 to 12 inches, locally higher amounts there before we're all finished up. So a sharp change between hardly anything for snow and a lot of snow as you head up toward the UP. But temperatures right now, any snow or rain that's falling is staying as a liquid or melting, as we have temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s at this point. And we'll warm up just a little bit more into the lower 40s, and that'll be about all. That's all we'll do today. Lower 40s afternoon rain. Some areas have dense fog as well. That south wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. By tonight, 21 degrees, rain changing over to snow. A lot of the northwest wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour as the winds begin to pick up, ushering in some colder air. For your Friday, mid-20s, snow showers, getting windy out there again. Northwest wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress, 7-day forecast. So by Saturday, still some snow left over. Temperatures in the upper teens, but look at this, mid-30s Sunday and a lot of sunshine. We welcome spring in by Monday. Partly cloudy, highs in the upper 30s. And not bad, the 40s return as we head towards Tuesday and Wednesday.
After 18 years of being with the Packers, it seems as if quarterback Aaron Rodgers' time in Green Bay may be coming to an end.
On the Pat McAfee Show, he revealed that he came to a decision on Friday, deciding whether or not he intends to play football again.
Newswatch 12's Saul Meyer has more.
At this point, as I sit here, I think since Friday,
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has made his intentions known. He would like to continue to play football and wants to do so in a New York Jets uniform.
It's about the reality situation, and I think there's probably people who are really wanting to move on, and I get it. I'm not upset about it. I have nothing but love in my heart for every Packer fan and everybody that works in the organization.
This decision wasn't an easy one. In fact, he took a darkness retreat to help him make his decision.
I got back to my phone after 5 days off of it, because your phone's not on the entire time. There's no Wi-Fi on that, hippie mountain. I realized that there'd been a little bit of a shift, that there was some shopping going on, that they were interested in actually moving me. And at this point, I got to admit, I went in the darkness, 90% retiring. 10% playing.
If he chose to retire, he would have done so with 4 NFL MVPs, a Super Bowl trophy, and a Super Bowl MVP, cementing himself as one of the all-time greats.
I would say this is debatable, but I'm debatably the best player in franchise history. I'm in the conversation for sure. What's not debatable is I'm the longest tenured Packer in history. You can debate the first part, obviously. Bart, Brett, a number of names have been incredible. But you can't debate anybody who's been there longer than I have.
And even though they didn't leave on the best of terms, Rodgers is grateful for his time at Green Bay.
Nobody's bled green and gold like me. I mean, I love that city. I love those fans. I love that region.
Definitely very interesting to see what he does. But coming up, find out where you can learn more about Marshfield's history tonight.
But first, Howard is in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen with a recipe for Irish cream cake.
Mr. Food Test Kitchen is brought to you by Golden Carrot Jewelers.
Just in case you forgot, I want to remind you that tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. That means tonight, before you go to bed, you might want to pick out something green to wear so you don't forget in the morning. Next, make sure your slow cooker is ready. So in the morning, you can just add the corned beef and cabbage, turn it on, in comes supper time, dinner is ready. Last, but certainly not least, you may want to whip up our Irish cream cake, which is magically good. We start by baking a yellow cake mix, but rather than simply following the package instructions, we add some dry instant vanilla pudding and Irish cream to the mix. Then we pour it over some chopped pecans in a bundt pan. While this bakes, we'll make a quick throw-together glaze to pour over it. When the cake comes out, we poke it a few times with a fork and pour the glaze on it so that it soaks in. Then we flip it out onto a platter and spoon more glaze on top. This magical cake is even better when it's shared with friends. So make sure you invite a few over. To get the recipe for our Irish cream cake, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found St. Patty's Day way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. Moist, huh?
Very.
Don't get...
Wisconsin seniors depend on Social Security, but extremist Dan Kelly doesn't care about them. Kelly wrote that Social Security was similar to slavery. And Kelly insulted seniors by writing that those on Social Security are, quote, people who have chosen to retire without sufficient assets to support themselves. Do you want a radical like that on the Supreme Court? Dan Kelly, an extremist who doesn't care about us.
Bad Boy Mowers. Born here. Raised here, tested here, and proven here. With advanced engineering and power, a groundbreaking 3-link suspension, and personalized settings built for here, the fields, front lawns, and backyards of America. Bad Boy, mow with an attitude.
Visit Ho Chunk Gaming Nakusa to experience exciting action on the hottest slot machines and electronic table games. With big fun, you get bigger rewards while playing with your Rewards Club card. Enjoy special gaming offers, food and entertainment discounts, and more. Hungry? No problem. Escape to the oasis of Swiftwater Lounge for drinks, food, and fun. We'll see you at Ho Chunk Gaming Nakusa, your place to play.
Some numbers simply have more meaning than others. After an accident, there's one critical number. The number that helps you get your life back by factoring in your needs for today and tomorrow. That's where Habish, and Rotier's numbers really add up. With over 90 years of client successes and 13 offices to help you wherever you are. Trust Habish Personal Injury Attorneys to get the number that's right for you. Call now.
News Watch 12 today with Jackie Smith, Michael Lodeholt, and Devin Biggs.
Welcome back. If you're looking to get a history fix tonight, head out to the Marshfield Public Library.
Or just fire up your computer and head over to YouTube. Tonight, Spoken History will be presenting the history of the Marshfield Fire Department. Local historian Mike Myers has spent a lifetime gathering information and digitizing historic photos that cover every aspect of Marshfield history. At 6:30 p.m., he will share his knowledge of the Marshfield Fire Department. You can attend the event in person on the second floor of the public library or join in virtually on YouTube. Find the Marshfield Public Library on Facebook for the link.
That seems like a good time. Very interesting to know the history of the fire department. Kind of curious what it is.
Exactly. I'm curious how late it goes back. That'd be kind of interesting to see, like, the first fire truck.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Pioneer Park, you got to go to that because they have some of the earlier fire trucks there on display there. It's really kind of interesting to see kind of how things have changed through the years, though, from the fire trucks we see today to the fire trucks of years ago.
Absolutely. If there's one thing I love about just the Northwoods, one thing I've learned is the history here. And just how many people are very passionate about presenting that history.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of fun history to learn up here, and I can't wait for the historical complex at Pioneer Park to open up for the season. Yes. So there's a lot to learn still. Even though you look at it over and over again, it just never gets old.
Absolutely.
It's like trivia.
Exactly.
Yeah, you see where it's going. You see where it's going. When will our average high officially hit 40 degrees? March 17th, March 18th, March 20th, March 21st. Same choices of answers, but a different question. The answer when we come back.
This portion of News Watch 12 is brought to you by Eagle Floor Covering on Twilight Lane, Eagle River.
This is Ford Truck Month, America. Time to get up and get into Ford F-150, part of F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 46 years straight. All amped up and ready for work or play. Plus, there's a great selection in stock and ready for delivery today. So get into Ford Truck Month and see what a built Ford tough truck can do for you. Choose FlexBuy on F-150 and get 0.9% APR financing for 66 months plus 1,000 FlexBuy, 1,000 Ford credit cash, and 500 accessories cash.
Winter won't last forever. Call Stern Lawn and Landscape now to plan your spring project. Stamped concrete patios, retaining walls, new yard installations, irrigation, and more. Stern Lawn and Landscape, providing great lawn services for a great price. Find us on Facebook.
In the market to build a new home or vacation property? What a better time to check out North Country Homes and come to our open house March 24th through the 26th. Talk with our factory builders, contractors, and meet with the North Country Home Team. With over 20 models to choose from, you'll be sure to find a home that fits your needs. Our homes have level of detail and quality that have been surpassing expectations for over 50 years. Find your new home at North Country Homes.
Come out to Northern Pines and leave the cooking to us. Have a cold drink and relax as you enjoy the beautiful view of the lake and great food. Try our Friday night fish fry and seafood buffet. Come out to Northern Pines on Butternut Lake.
I'm Lynette. This is my husband, Arthur.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe we're in our 70s.
I have recommended Consumer Cellular to so many people.
She was the one to convince me to come over to her side.
That's right.
Come on over to Consumer Cellular and save. AARP members get 2 lines of unlimited talk, text, and data for just $55 a month.
The coverage has been excellent.
You know, it gives us exactly what we want.
You should go with Consumer Cellular.
Switch today. Call or go online.
Dan Kelly is extremely corrupt. 6 times Kelly ruled in favor of a plaintiff with close ties. He was on their advisory panel. He took contributions from their board. And all 6 times, Kelly ruled in their favor. Another time, Kelly changed his mind about whether to judge the Zignego case after pocketing $20,000 in contributions from the Zignego family. Corruption, extremism, that's Dan Kelly.
Builder Service. We are your hometown hardware store. Plumbing, electrical, paint, automotive, keys, tools, lawn and garden. We're more than just a lumberyard. Highway 45 in Elko.
And a special birthday shout out to our country store winner this morning, Aubrey Neal from Schofield. Happy birthday and congratulations. You win a free ice cream cone and scoop from the country store in Eagle River.
To enter that special someone or co-worker in Newswatch 12's birthday club, just head over to WJFW.com at least 2 weeks before their special day. That's where you can enter their name and upload a photo for us to air. You can also send us a photo and information to the station. Attention Northwood's Birthday Club, 3217 County Road G, right here in Rhinelander.
All right, trivia for today. When will our average high officially reach 40 degrees? We know the choices are the same, but the question's different.
I'm going to say March 20th.
You're thinking March 20th.
I'm going to say D, the 21st.
Michael, ding, 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 ding. I mean, technically just the math involved. 39.8 degrees, but we're going to play the rounding rule here.
Oh, that's not officially. That's rounding.
Yeah, you check graphics, so they do round it to 40, so by that point. So, yes, the 40 degrees, and then we go past 40 degrees, like 41 degrees or so, as we head towards the day after. So, our average highs are going to start increasing rather dramatically moving forward. So, it will mean that we're starting to march forward to spring, and before you know it, a lot of that snow will be melting away. So there's our top 5 snowiest seasons again. It's going to be kind of harder to kind of break any more records, although we might make a run for 4. I can't totally rule it out. 99.9, that's within reach if we can get another good snow going, or at least get anything from this system, which kind of looking doubtful in my opinion at this point. But again, there's some winter weather advisories for Vilas and Price counties, and the winter storm warnings to the north. Here in Oneida County, nothing. In areas to the south, nothing, as well as the chances have really kind of pulled back. So let's zoom things out, show you the system real quick. We're seeing development moving through parts of Omaha, Nebraska, some snow to the north of that. That's heading in our direction. We'll start with rain. Temperatures will fall later this evening, and we'll switch over to snow by around 6 to 7 o'clock or so. 2 to 3 tenths of an inch of rain further down to the south for us, around a tenth or 2 tenths of an inch before we switch over.